Well, hi, everybody. This is Rob Decker with Brian Jesperson, as always, doing the Rug Lounge tonight. Brian, tell everybody hi.
How's everybody doing in the rug world?
Hope it's a good one for everybody. I have had a fantastic week, very draining. I am going through every jug, everything in my shop is getting evaluated whether I need it coming up or not. And I'm just throwing stuff away, man, left and right. And most of it, number one cleaner has replaced most of my products.
Really?
It's tile and grout cleaner, concrete floor cleaner, furniture cleaner, carpet cleaner, both hot water extraction and low moisture. Um,
Okay.
there's just, I mean, like the only thing on tile and grout that I need is an acid because it's an alkaline. So
Yeah.
every once in a while you need to go acid on a and so I've got but like other than that, like I'm throwing away stuff that I've had in bottles for like 2 years. I'm like, I'll probably need that. Well, you know how hoarders are, you know what I mean? You know how we are. It's like I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna need that. I have a piece of wood like this, like this, and it's like I know I'm gonna need that, just
Yeah.
like stupid shit. But it is what it is. Well, I remember last week we started talking about tufted rugs and we started talking about rebacking them. And I don't, do you do that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
I figured you did. I mean, it's pretty, if you stretch carpet, it's like the easiest thing in the world. I mean, if you've ever relaminated a piece of wall to wall from a rolling chair or something, you know what I mean? It's like really simple. Sometimes floods will do it too. I've had people put, try to pull back their carpet when it got wet, rip it,
Oh yeah.
pull it completely apart, and you're like, well, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a video I shot a while back. Let's see if I can do all this stuff while I'm talking. And let's see, share. Uh-oh. Share camera? That's not right. Did they changed this shit? Oh, there it is. Share screen. Okay. Start. And okay. So now I go to this video that I shot, and it was quite a while ago. You see, I'm quite a bit heavier in this video, but it is about diagnosing what is going on with a rug. So let's. Just wanted to show you real quick about what I'm talking about, the delamination here. This backing is not Do that. adhered to the back of this rug, and so the glue has failed, and it's widespread. It's all over. So that's why we have to go ahead and put the new backing on with the new adhesive, just because it's starting to fall apart. And so I just wanted to show you that before we get into this. I always like to have a little bit of documentation. Thanks. Okay, so that was this rug here. And we went ahead and stripped it all off during the initial wash. And so while we have it completely saturated wet, we are going to begin to remove that backing. And you got to do it pretty carefully because if there's sections like, the corners, like the middle of the rug and the walkway, that's always trashed, right? But there's going to be places on that rug where if you're pulling too much, you're going to be pulling yarns out of the face, right? So you want to be careful about that. Make sure that you are, first of all, fully saturated. That's, because latex adhesive is what is commonly used in tufted rug. And, there are adhesives that perform very, very well in wet areas. Dental adhesive is a good example. It's meant to be in a wet area that does its job, but latex is not one of those. The Achilles heel of latex is moisture and long-term moisture, letting it sit wet for a while. So that's why people have trouble getting urine out of tufted rugs sometimes because you blow out the backing. Have you ever done that? Like, have you ever had to replace one that you weren't planning on?
Well, yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah,
I, Back when I
me
didn't know
too.
what I was really doing, you
Yeah.
know. But I pretty much take a look at the rug and kind of see the condition of the rug, and then talk with the client and let them know, hey, this might disintegrate just a little bit, and you're going to have a loose backing. If you have a pad, it'll be fine. But
Mm,
just I'll let you be forewarned that if it kind of looks like you have a crushed seashells across your floor,
yeah.
over time after we washed it, it's because of the backing. The backing is disintegrating, and if we put a new backing on there, it won't happen. You won't have that problem at all.
Exactly. You know, I mean, I can make a rug last 60 years. I mean, that's not even the life expectancy of a tufted rug coming off the floor. You know, I mean, coming out of the mill. So it's but I use, more adhesive and better adhesive because look, this is why tufted rugs are like a time bomb waiting to go off. And the reason why is that there are bean counters. There's people on the floor doing the work, right? But there's bean counters that sit up above and calculate everything. And they say, hey, if we put a little bit more filler in our latex, we can make it go a little farther. And if we put a little less on, we can make it go a little farther. We can make more money. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about in that kind of setting. Well, in my kind of setting, I charge well for what I do, but I don't skimp on what I do. So I make sure, I use Roberts indoor outdoor. I think it's 6750 adhesive. I mean the stuff that you're supposed to put AstroTurf down to your back porch kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Waterproof glue. And when I put a rug back together, it stays back together. I tell people I can give them 60 years of life in the rug, and I mean what I'm saying. And I know there's other ones like, Phil Osrell has the stuff that he loves. He says it like you put it on, it goes clear and it's not sticky. Like it's a backing in and of itself. You just kind of roll this stuff on, let it dry. Have you ever used that stuff? It's
So
AAT something.
yeah, that's what we
Have
use.
you
Yeah,
really?
yeah, it's from
Huh.
Bond Industries. It's called It's ATT
ATT.
1132, I think, is
Okay.
what it says. Um, but yeah, we just go ahead and we wash the rug, take the backing off during the
Mhm.
wash. Power wash all the old glue off of there. Uh,
Yeah.
many cases we just use the same backing that came off. We power wash
Really?
that.
Wow.
We clean that up, let that stick in the centrifuge, spin it out, hang it up, and then take the rug, and we power wash the rug and also the ribbons that go around,
Hmm.
yeah, the
Yeah.
outline of it, and then then we go ahead and let it dry, and then when it dries, then we just make sure that we
But
just put that glue on, and
right.
you do have plenty of time.
Hmm.
We trowel it on, and then we'll take two of us and we'll just stretch the
Stretch that out.
backing on there, and then just start to kind of just mold that backing, to adhere that on there, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the ribbons as well, and you just have to make sure that before it dries, make sure it's completely square. So and you might want to go ahead and take some measurements of the rug, and then
Mm,
that way exactly the
yeah.
size. Because if you have somebody who has an 8x10 rug, let's just say some of that isn't that cotton and everything isn't pre-shrunk, but you can stretch and pull that thing to the size
Yeah.
you kind of need. We'll
Of
try to make sure
course.
we bring it back to the 8x10, right? Instead of
Yeah.
maybe even it could be a 7x8 by 7x8, so we'll just make sure we have it all squared back up, put back all together, make sure it's perfect. The first time that we did that, this guy works for me, Joe. What's that? Trapezoid? Kind of looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
Like,
Joe, that does not look correct. And he was like,
right.
what? I said, do you know how hard this is to take off now?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to make
Oh, yeah.
sure but it was a hard lesson to be learned. We did
Yeah.
we did stick it back in. It took it was not fun.
Oh, no, not with
Uh,
fresh glue. Oh, my
yeah,
God.
yeah. I remember, you know what? As a matter of fact, I don't know if I did that. We may have actually taken the rug and actually
Stretched it.
wetted the rug out, and then because the rug becomes more pliable after it gets wet,
Yeah.
and we may have stretched that after that point. So we stretched it and set it to the size we wanted. That was a long time ago. I mean,
Right.
it's probably 16 years ago. It was a long time ago. But you want to know something? I never forgot about it ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
Joe.
Hey,
Joe has never
those.
forgot about it. We make
Yeah.
sure it is absolutely perfect. Like even the sides, you'll have a side that's a little could be a little wavy. You make
Yep.
sure it's absolutely perfect, straight, 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 and you're in good shape,
Yep.
and people are happy.
Oh, very much. And one of a rug washer's worst nightmares, right, is to take a rug and it has a twin somewhere in that house that you don't know about. And if you have to do some, then wow, man, I've heard stories. I've never had that happen to me, but I've heard stories of people bringing a rug back, and they're like, well, wait a minute. And they go and get, and they're like, this doesn't look anything like, you know what I mean? What's going on here? And you're like, oh man, boy, now that would just make you sweat. I mean, just instantly, just whoo.
Yeah,
That would be a hard one, man. I'm telling you, geez, Lou. Um, so I'm gonna continue with this. So we want to wash it, we want to decon it if that's what it needs, if that's why it was delaminating, whatever. And we want to pull all that off. We want to power wash. We want to vacuum. The last thing, do not pull a backing off a rug and then put it on a rug sucker. Okay. Not a good idea
yeah.
at all. You're going to run that glue all the way through that rug and it is going to be a mess. So just be forewarned about that. Not a good idea. So, uh, you want to get it in, do it, pull it back, get as much of the old glue as you possibly can get off of it, and then put it in the dry room, let it dry. Bring it out, and this is what you've got in front of you, right? It's face down, it's ready to put the glue on. So, what we do, what I do, it. Oh, I get that right? 6,700. That's what it is. 6,700. Okay, so I got part of it right. Um, so this little thing rolled up here is a canvas drop cloth for painters, and I get the big ones. I get like the 20 by 30 huge ones, and then I just cut them to fit, right. And before you ever do anything, the first thing you do is wash them in hot water. Make sure that you pre-shrink them. That's very, very, very important. Yeah, you've seen that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I can't believe you can use. Thinking back when you were saying that you use the old backing, I'm thinking back and I'm like, I can't remember. I don't think I've ever had a backing that I felt was worthy of being able to put back. Like it was just, they're usually just dust almost by the time I get them. You know what I mean? So,
Well,
um,
most of the backings that we get, you know,
they're in shape, good
we'll
shape, huh?
we'll see the rugs. I mean, there might be stains or whatever, but we can get stains out of there.
Right.
We make sure we just we power wash the thing, wash it, uh, then go ahead and stick it in the centrifuge, spin it all out, hang it up on the dry tire, and bring it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll just dry. And one little secret to doing that a little bit also, those those little cotton ribbons, that's going to go
Mm-hmm.
around the outskirts of the rug. We take those and hang those on our dry tire as well, and then put a little bit of weight to it so it stretches them out because those will want to shrink up. So we'll put a little bit of
Oh
weight,
yeah,
on there, and yeah, they come out great. They come out great.
that's a good plan.
We just make sure we just power wash everything, and I mean everything. I did do that a few times where I actually bought the canvas,
Yeah.
put a brand new backing on it. Of course, the first time, like an idiot, I did not pre-shrink it, and then
Oh my,
guess what?
yeah.
Like
It's
I don't know, a year and a half later, the rug came back, and and man, we went and washed that rug. Oh man, that was not good. And
yeah.
that was back when also we didn't have a centrifuge. You know, uh, things are just easier when you have a centrifuge. There's
Yeah.
just so much more that you can do. You have a rug that's bleeding. You have so many different issues. That
Mhm.
the centrifuge is awesome. Uh,
Eh,
but the backing's been great also. Just because you're able to get everything out of there, and you put that rug in there without the back on there, and that thing, it's spinning everything out of there. You know, we're
Oh
we're
yeah.
we're going to put that rug in there the long way. So we're going to, if
Mhm.
it's 8 by 10, we're going to put it in there the 10 foot
Didn't put away,
point
yeah.
where the outside of the rug is actually onto the barrel, so we get actually more of that, spinning out. And
Yes.
man, they always come out great.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm one of these days. I don't even know if like I don't think I would be able to put a centrifuge in my current shop configuration the way it is. Like I'd have to, I don't know. I have to think about that. But anyway, I'm using the adhesive here. Now I pre-shrunk this and then I pre-cut it. So I lay the tarp out over the rug and then I take long shears
Uh,
and we cut as straight of a line as we possibly can. But it doesn't really have to be all that straight because you're going to have a 3-inch border tape hiding the little imperfections. You know what I mean? So we cut it and then very important. There's my trowel. And so what we want is we cut it to the shape, and then we take the other part of the tarp and put it back over in the other room, and then I roll this up and I leave it rolled up there, and you see how the edge is right there. So what I'm going to do is I put glue on the very beginning of it, and then I unroll that, and then I put some more glue, and I unroll, and then we've got these big, carpet rollers. What do you call them? It's not a star roller; it's flat roller. Would be what. But yeah, you roll that, and you got to be careful because you don't like one thing you don't want to do is step on the rug after you've
yeah,
put the glue and the backing on because your footprint will stay there. I swear to God. So
yeah,
don't do that. I guess tonight's more about what not to do than what it
right,
is to do. But you got to be you got to think about because I've done it and I had to work really hard to get my footprint out of that stupid rug with the roller like that. So but that's what we do, and it's not. You can tell. It's not cut just absolutely four square perfect, right? But it's okay because when we get done with this process, which is here, and see, we've got it all laying out, and it's all whoop, and now we put the border tape on. So we go along with that adhesive. I use um, 3-inch border tape, and I use a 2-inch uh, paintbrush, right? And I'm putting the glue on the side, and then we're putting it down, rolling it out, making sure. And then at the edges here, now this is something. This is a secret that well, I guess I don't know. I had to learn it the hard way. I can tell you that. But you don't put glue at the very corner here. You put it up to almost where the tape's gonna cross, and then on the other side you put it just so the little end parts here that are overlapping and the square of where they touch are not glued, because what you want to do is you want to take a long pair of shears and you go from that outer edge, and with one snip you snip and then pull away the excess, and you have a nice little mitered corner, and that's what you want, right? So let's see. Now I don't guess I have a picture of the corner. Now we're getting into other stuff. So yeah, but that's what you do, and it looks wonderful. It performs like it's supposed to. It's just and it's really cool to be able to take something that's ready for the dumpster and
yeah.
be able to restore it and make it something like this, and it's like it's good for 60 years. It's just amazing. I love it.
Well, back when I used to use the other product, and I want to say it may have been what you were talking about. The
6 700.
Yeah, uh, we used to do that, and I used to put too much of that on there. And then I put the weighted roller, except I took all the weights off and just kind of, so I have it's pretty
Right.
wide, about what, 2.5, 3 foot, and I was just kind of depressing that, but it was actually sinking into there way too much. So when I started using that, it's actually called Custom Rug Compound, is what it is
Uh-huh.
by Bond Industries. It's like ATT 1132, I think is what the bucket says.
Yeah.
So I buy the bucket. It's like a 2.5 pound bucket, and you can trowel it on pretty thin in a way. You don't have to put a whole ton of it on there, but you can trowel it on, and you got plenty of time to work, plenty of time. And then you just when we're putting it down, we're just two of us, and we stretch on both sides and start kind of laying down, and you're just taking your hand, and we're just kind of smoothing it on there, and everything adheres really super good. And we have had zero problems at all. Everybody's been super happy with everything we've had so far, and we've done a lot of rugs that way.
Yeah. It's I have not tried that stuff. I and I probably will actually get some now. I think now I might be mistaken. Did Phil not say that you could just put that on and leave it like
Well,
that?
if you want to, on some tufted rugs, yes, that
Huh.
you can actually just trowel that on and just leave it, because you'll see some rugs, like some of the really old Pottery Barn rugs, or maybe like custom rugs. You'll see, what was that? Edward Fields used to have
Yeah.
that backing basically like that. Uh, it just kind of goes on kind of a creamy white in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but
And it goes clear as it
yeah,
dries,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
and you can put that on. We use it a lot. I mean, I normally buy, I don't know, maybe two, 2.5 pails every year. It
Mm-hmm.
just goes far.
Mm-hmm.
We'll use that for like if we see like a little bit of, if there are some, out, ribbon issues that you have some pieces that are kind of coming up, we'll just go ahead and
Yeah.
fill that in with a little bit of that, lay it back down, and it stays. And I mean, it
Hmm.
stays. And we've washed rugs, I don't know, 4 and 5 times since we've done that.
Right.
Even, I think I started using that probably about 2010, maybe is when I did. So I've seen rugs came in multiple times, no issues, zero. I mean, the rug is actually intact. It's better than it ever could have been
Hmm.
in the past, and it's easy to work with. Like you're not freaking out about like time. Like sometimes
Right.
when we first started, I was like, oh my gosh, how much time do I have to work with this to set up?
You got
Well,
like a
yeah, too
20-minute
much.
open time.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of no. You have time. You have time.
Huh.
Everything works. Everything adheres super good. I mean, you can't. To me, it's like the best stuff that you can really get.
Wow. Is it waterproof too? Or can you get like can you put it on a rug sucker after you do that to a rug?
Uh, you know, that's a good question because I mean, you. That's a great question. I
Yeah, I just don't know if yeah.
I don't remember using the rug sucker necessarily with that. Maybe I'm not for sure. I can tell you this: the rugs that we spin, I spin the rugs and they spin just as well as they did before.
Right, right,
So
right.
so it's got to be it's got to be allowing water to pass through it,
It does.
but it's still being very pliable and not coming apart. So
So okay, and that's like the difference if you're a carpet installer, it's a difference between a single now I've a direct glue and then a double glue down. So you've got the cushion glued to the pad or to do the subfloor, and then you've got this pressure sensitive adhesive right on top of the cushion to put the carpet down. And it is supposed to flex where latex really, especially as it oxidizes over several years, it's really not flexible, much at all. Like you flex it and it turns to powder, right? And that's the whole reason. Like I tell my clients all the time when I see wrinkles and buckles in their carpet, I'm telling them, look, you gotta understand the glue that holds us together it's supposed to bounce about this much when you walk on it, right? Well, if it's like this, then you're doing this. And what happens like with a thin piece of metal? You bend it, bend it, bend it, it breaks. And that's exactly what latex does, especially after it's been a few years, 3, 4, 5 years. It has oxidized and it's starting to turn to dust in those areas. And that's why you're supposed to stretch carpet in nice and tight, because it is supposed to bounce like this, not like this, you
Yeah.
know? And that's why carpet doesn't last as long if you don't power stretch it in the way you're supposed to, and it doesn't pass that inspector
Yeah.
stretch test. I get real fired up about that, man, because it's like, I see so much of it. I mean, I have seen in my career less than five, less than five residential installs that passed my stretch test
Really?
in 30 years, man.
Wow.
It just, I mean, I don't know if it's just my area. I don't know. I have a feeling it's not. And this is what I tell people, right? I say, if your installer didn't stretch this in, he knows that you don't know the difference. First and foremost, he
Yeah.
knows that you don't know he's supposed to, and he also knows that the symptoms of his of the problem that he's giving you, the symptoms aren't going to come up for about 3 years, four
Oh yeah.
years, and that's in the heavily trafficked areas, right? So the living room and the staircase and the hallway, those are going to start to show symptoms, but the spare bedroom, it looks great because it's not being used, it's not bouncing, it's not, it drives me crazy. It really does. I'm a stretcher, man. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and it bothers me that the installer doesn't knows that you don't know the difference, and they know that the symptoms aren't going to appear for 3 years. And what's going to happen, right? I mean, you've got the best installer ever. He did your mom, he did your aunt, he did everybody. You know what I mean? Everybody's just absolutely happy. You call him back 3 years later and say, I've got wrinkles in my carpet. Oh yeah, well, you need a restretch, and I can come in and we and it's by the room and we just charge you. And I'm like, no, no, they need a stretch because you're not restretching anything. It's never been stretched in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if to restretch something, it has to be stretched first. You can't. Like I said, I get fired up about it, man. You can
You
see
get
it.
fired up, man.
I hate to see my customers getting ripped off. It
Yeah.
really is like a knife in my stomach, man. You know what I mean? And I see it too often, that, people don't understand. And that's why I've actually thought about starting some kind of like a being like, well, like Lynn Tall did, the rug advocate, being a carpet advocate, but being a consultant that you would hire to come in and tell you what to watch for
Yeah.
and tell you, you know what I mean? And I offer it to all my customers. I'm like, if before you get carpet installed, you tell them, I said, when you go to the store and you're getting ready to write the first check for them, you said, okay, wait a minute. I've got a really good carpet cleaner. And he told me that there's a test that I've got to do to make sure that your installers are stretching this in right. So if your guys aren't going to stretch my carpet properly, then I'm just going to go down the road now, and I'm not going to go through all the BS that it's going
Yeah.
to take for us to get this resolved later on after you don't do your job, right? So, and I tell my customers, be aggressive with it and tell them I know how to check. I know how to check every single stair step. I know that in a master closet, there are 9 places that you are going to check, or I'm sorry, 8 places. And then in a regular size, in a regular size room, 10 by 14, there's going to be at least 6, if not 8 places that you're going to check. I mean, it's through the traffic way. Um, and I'm really anal about it because, like I said, it's basically the guy is ripping him off, getting paid to not do his job, and then getting paid again to come. And you know what they do? Of course, they do what I call ripple removal. They're not going to stretch anything, right? They are going to pull the ripples out and they're going to take it, collect the check, and they're going to leave. And then 3 years later, it's going to buckle the other way. Stupid, because it will, because you got to pull it this way and then you got to turn 90 degrees and you got to push it that way, and if you don't do both ways,
Yeah.
You're never going to pass the test. It's never going to, but this isn't the carpet show. I'm sorry. I get so damn fired up. Um, so I do have a, what would you do besides, what we, and isn't it funny? We're doing it kind of opposite. Um, okay. So here, here, and here. We're doing the main part of the show first. We're going to do what would you do after? Why the hell not? So this is from Truck Rock Forums. I saw this tonight and I just could not let this thing sit. Um, I have got to clean my glasses before I can read any damn thing. Okay, this wool rug with cotton foundation fibers is a dog's bathroom. I sprayed a gallon of Undoes It on there, concentrating on the yellow spots. I scrubbed the Undoes It with a CRB with white brushes, poured a few gallons of water on the rug, and used my wand as a squeegee to try to push the urine water out. The water was still yellowish when I decided to quit squeegeeing. Yeah, that's your problem right there. You gotta flush the toilet. You
Yeah.
gotta flush the toilet. After that, I extracted with my wand. I had zero hope for the yellow spots, but I thought the odor might be reduced. But it does not seem to have changed much. The carpet is still drying after 24 hours, Lord have mercy. And probably because I poured water on trying to replicate wash floor methods. It doesn't seem to be a bleeder. Now here's the rug. And you and me have seen these over and over and over in those.
Yeah.
And this thing, and he's right. I mean, look, right there, it's just like a line of yellow, you know.
Wow.
And hearing him describe what he did, I'm just like, man. And I mean, listen, I don't want to put anybody down. This is not what this is about at all. But it's about learning to do a better job. Um, because that is important. I mean, what happened here is he stopped before he was finished. You have got to flush the toilet. Number one thing, you have got to flush the toilet. Urine, the problem with urine is salt. Salt is hydroscopic, means it loves water. So give it water, but don't give it just a little bit of water. And this is what I tell my clients when I'm like in wall to wall urine. I tell them putting, adding a little bit of water to dried urine is lunacy. Lunacy. Why would you ever do it? Adding a lot of water, like 150 gallons, running water through there. Now that's smart. That's what has to be done, right? I mean, you do it every day.
I I just can't believe how yellow that is. I mean, is that really from dog urine? Or
And well, I'll tell you what happened. I'll bet he pushed a lot of it toward the edge, but he didn't finish. And I think that's what we're seeing here, right here, is just an unfinished. There's still that nasty salt, and he was able to migrate it out. But it just, he was just like, man, damn, it's dinner time. I'm tired of, let's dry this rug. Let's take 2 days to do it, but let's dry this rug.
good.
Um, and again, not putting anybody down. I want to help you raise up. I want you to be able to do a better job. So, um, getting the rug dry quicker is going to benefit you very much, but getting it a lot wetter in the beginning and flushing this out, and then you do your product right. He did this the opposite way. He used product that costs 25, 30, $40 a gallon, and then he used the free stuff, which is water, right? Completely, he needs to do exactly the opposite. Water first. Why? Because it's damn near free. So, and your problem wants water desperately. Salt is crying out for water. So give it water, and give it a lot of water, and move it and run it, flush that toilet, run it down the drain, and then put product on it, allow dwell time, and you're starting to get the ball rolling, right, Brian?
Well, I would like to see this rug before he
Yeah.
actually started doing anything because I'm just like blown away by how much yellow is concentrated
Like
on. it's
like that
almost
line. Yeah,
it's almost as if there was like a not a
like a
box,
chest.
but
Yeah, like a chest or something there. Yeah,
something that was wood grain. That's like a wood grain transfer on there. It just, man, that is really really super heavy.
it
That's
is, and it's neon. Yeah.
yeah, it is super bright. But some of the chemistry they have over there from the truck mount forums, I've had cleaners, you know, try to use some of their stuff and then screwed something up and brought it to me, and I guess I have not really paid attention exactly what all that is. Um, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you, they've got some aggressive chemistry, and this is the thing, and you know this, Brian, because you've been a carpet cleaner all your life, and I have too. Um, you've got to approach rugs unlike any carpet that you've ever cleaned. It's got to be completely different, and you've got to train yourself to get out of the carpet cleaner. I want it done. I want it done. I want it done. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go. That's not the rug mentality. We're charging six, seven, $800 to clean these rugs a
Yeah,
piece, right? So I'm not worried if it takes me 4 hours to get this done. Now, in my shop, I've got enough square footage to where I've got usually three rugs going at once. I've got, I'm flushing one. I'm urine soaking this one after I've flushed it already. And then I'm doing a peroxide treatment on this one over here, trying to make it even out and all of that. You know what I mean? And that's the way I like to operate. So I do more than one at a time. Not everybody has that luxury, and I get that. But that's where what I'm at. But it doesn't, I will spend as long as I need to on a rug just to make sure that I've earned that six, seven, $800. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that when that client gets it back, I was talking about last week or a couple of weeks ago where I will have them get down and pet another rug in their house, and then I'll have them pet the rug that I just brought back to them, and it blows them away. It's like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that's why you just paid me a bunch of money, is
well,
because we get things out of your rug.
I mean, the ultimate goal is to make the rug soft to the touch, colorful, uh, and then of course no sort of pet odors, and then
Healthy. Yeah.
also removing the stains
Yeah.
spots that's actually on the rug. So there's basically those four things you're trying to do, and yeah, sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer on other rugs. So like this right here, man, it
Yeah.
would just be interesting to see what this rug looked like before they actually touched it. As I have
Yeah.
a feeling that something was sitting on there with wood grain. I mean, who knows? Maybe there was a chest like on there. Maybe the dog was peeing on the side of the chest, right?
Right.
I mean,
That trust your instincts, Brian. I know that like the first thing that occurs to you is usually right, right,
yeah. I mean, just a multitude of things that could be, but this is the reason why you take before pictures,
Yes.
and then it's great to take some during, and then it's great to take pictures after.
Yeah.
Especially, you should take pictures, especially when it's installed in the house after.
Yeah.
Just get used to doing, pre, during, and after, because I'm telling you, sometimes people will call and say, "Hey, no, I don't think you got rid of that spot," and then you're like, "What? Are you kidding me?" And you go over there, and they may have just spilt something on there, and then
Yeah.
they're like, "Dude, I just spent X amount of dollars getting this thing corrected, and I just now, 4 days later, I done screwed up massively, right?" and
And that's a beautiful time to start talking to people about fabric protecting.
exactly, exactly, and
You say, "Hey, I got your insurance policy. I told you about insurance policy, and
yes,
you didn't want to buy it.
yes,
Well, now you've got a big orange stain on your rug.
yes. I will never forget when this lady on this Tabriz rug, and she sat there and she said, "No, I don't want protector on there." 7 weeks go by, 7 weeks, and she calls me and says, "Hey, there's a spot on this rug that you didn't get out." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she didn't realize I took so many photos and videos of the
Mm,
rug, and so I said, "Well, let me take a look at the documentation of the rug after it was installed in your house." And I went over there and took a look at it. I said, "Yeah, I mean, it's not there, but I mean, Sure, I'll go ahead and spot clean it for you. And next thing I know, her daughter comes walking in, her teenage daughter, and her daughter was like, "Yeah, my mom, she's a liar. She spilled Freddy sauce on that rug." And I was like, "This is the reason why you had the protector. If you had the
Yeah,
protector, I mean, you could clean this up so much easier yourself. You wouldn't be messing around, giving me a song and dance about something,
right.
especially when I cover my bases.
Yeah,
And a lot of people don't. They don't. I mean, a lot of people don't even take pictures before, and that's
right.
probably one of the most foolish things you can do
Mm.
because it's nice to be able to see what it started off with and see if it got better or see if it got worse or see you just have a peace of mind to yourself. So always I just got myself into a habit of behavior where I take them before, during, and after. You know,
I'll tell you, I've never thought about taking a picture of the rug after I've delivered it and it's in the house, but that is something that I need to incorporate because I do all the pre-inspection, I do all the during, I do all the we got to get this stain out and then we got that stain out, but I've never taken a picture after I've delivered it, and that is a really, really good idea.
well, if
I
you're
like it.
using company cam, I mean, it's right there.
I am. Yeah.
You save it, right? You
Yep.
save it, you can see, and you just talk into it. You press the little microphone,
Yep.
rugs back in house installed, and
Yep.
it's done deal. It's
Notes there. Yeah.
time stamped, everything's done deal. There's no wondering about whatever. Uh, the company cam has been absolutely awesome. I love
I
it.
love it. I love it. And I love the fact that you can create a report out of your pictures and email them and say, okay, this is your rug. Yeah, this is what I picked up. Now, and I remember Paul talking about sometimes, especially with silk, but other rugs too. Um, if a rug comes in with multiple problems, we've got urine odor, we've got urine stains, and we've got a moth infestation. You know what I mean? So you kind of, okay, what's your priority here? You know what I mean? Do you want the moths out of there, or do you know that your house has moths and it's just going to be, you live out in the country, you leave your windows open, whatever. So the moths aren't my issue, but I just don't want people seeing these stains on my rug. Can you help me with that? Well, what about the odor? You know what I mean? Is that so? It's all about making sure that what your customer wants. Because I'll tell you a story. One time I took a rug and, it was like after a carpet cleaning or something. Sure, I'll take it, rolled it up and got it back to the shop. And this was before I was taking pictures and stuff. And there was a hole in the rug. And it was a broadloom, it was a piece of broadloom that was made into a rug, right? And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just fix that for her. Maybe I'll just put a repair in there. And I got about washing the rug and doing everything, and I dried it, and then I called her and I was like, hey, I've got it. And the morning of the repair, or of the morning of the delivery, I went and rolled it out just to make sure. And I was like, oh, I forgot to repair it. I'm like, well, I never talked to her. I never told her I was going to repair it. So I'm just, I'll just leave it alone. Whatever. And I brought it back in and I rolled it out. And the first thing that lady said was, oh my God, I'm so glad you didn't fix that hole. And that befuddled me. What? And she said, my dog made that hole and I don't, that dog's gone now. And that hole, every time I look at that hole, I remember my dog fondly. And I thought, wow, man, you've got to know what your customers' priorities are and don't guess. Call them up. Don't guess because you could do something that, I mean, it'd probably be I could probably undo a repair if I needed to. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever done it, but I probably could. But it wouldn't be, ideal. So, know your customer, know what your customer wants, and know as much about how your customer feels about that rug before you take it. And I mean, you've got a story like that. I mean, you got a war story like that, I'm sure, Brian.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, if you're using company cam, you know which technician in your company is doing the inspection, what time, the day. I mean, like yesterday, we picked up two Febreze silk rugs. They're both,
Mm.
I think they were like, what were they? Like a 5 by 8. maybe almost 6 by 9. I'll have to
Mm,
back and look and relook. But she's having her house remodeled. One of them hangs on a wall. The other one was on the floor. Uh,
mm.
but so she had both of them kind of rolled up in these bags, and there was so much jazz in there in her house. I couldn't just unroll the stuff. And with them being silk, I didn't want to take them out there in the driveway. And just so I
Yeah.
come back to the shop. First thing we're doing is the inspection. We unroll the rug. What do I see? One of the rugs is, and they've never been washed. She's had them for a long time, but one of them is
Mm.
a really dark blue, and I noticed. Look at that right on the silk fringe. There's blue dye transfer already
When
on.
she rolled it.
I
Oh,
was like, that's fantastic, right? So I went ahead, I I started doing my inspection. I took a picture, and do detail
yeah.
like all detail and everything. And sometimes some of the like on the spandrels on the corners, some of them
Mm,
kind of look like just a little bit of like light blue transfer, and it's kind of hard to take a good pic with that and try to see. But
mm.
it's nice to be able to make a little video, and you're going across and you're kind of talking,
Yeah.
kind of seeing a little bit. So we'll see how that kind of works out because I'm going to wash the rugs with dye release, of course,
Mm.
dye release and some triple D, and I always lay the rugs down where the actual rug is facing down and the fringes on to the sides, so nothing gets
Yeah.
into
Oh,
the
yeah.
fringe.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we'll see if I can make the correction to the fringe. It'd be kind of cool to actually see like how much better the rug has become because that blue one you can definitely tell it's been walked on a little bit. Plus,
Right.
she had already said, hey, there's a little tiny repair I want to see if you can do. So when I was looking at the side cord, I was actually looking. It's kind of just like a few millimeters into the side cord. You see one of the warps snapped, and
Oh,
that's what that is. So it was nice also with company cam to actually take a picture of that,
yep.
show what it is, make a little bit of video with a little bit of video with that to let somebody know, okay, hey, is this what you're concerned with? Because this is
Hmm.
what's kind of going on. This is what we can do for you. Um, it was just kind of it's nice. It's nice to have
Hmm.
that feature, and that way also with the timestamps and who's doing it in your shop, because maybe it's just you, or maybe
Right.
it's somebody else who works for you, and you never want to start pointing fingers towards your guys that are doing the
Yep.
work. Hopefully they're trained well enough where they say, hey, listen, man, just make sure you document the whole entire thing. Do a hands and knees inspection. Run your hands across the
Always.
whole thing, you know. And I want you to also feel the nap, feel which way that the grain of this
Rug
rug
was made.
really
Yeah.
wanting to lay. North,
Mhm.
south, east, west. Document that. Make these little adjustments. Say, okay, look, you got this little repair that's on this side. We're going to call this side 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this is the way it's supposed to be laying. And because sometimes when you wash those rugs afterwards, sometimes it's kind of clumping together, just a pinch, right? But you kind of get a little tricked sometimes
Yeah.
because, especially on a silk rug, because you may have just only one side that'll kind of ruffle up on you. It's kind of like petting a cat, going from the tail to the
Backwards.
head,
Yeah.
and it's kind of going, and you're like, what the heck? But I'm telling you, taking the pictures, going through, spending some time with yourself, that way you're basically pumping yourself up, saying, okay,
Yeah.
I know what's going on. And then if something happens when you're washing it or something happens when it's drying, you can go back and you feel more comfortable instead of saying, oh my gosh, I don't know if this looked like this beforehand.
Exactly.
Oh my
And I'll tell you
gosh.
what,
Oh my gosh, did I screw this up?
I'm so glad that you brought up video because you got to remember these phones that we're all taking pictures with, they auto correct for things, right? For lighting conditions, they always are trying to get the best picture, right? And so that sometimes will mask what you're actually seeing. You've seen this as well as I. So a video will sometimes catch those things that a photo will shear out. And so video is very important when you can't get that situation. And in my, I've got more than plenty of light coming down Cascade. I've got like bright daylight situation in my inspection area and my wash area because I want to be able to see, and if but you also you can take it back to a different lighting situation and it looks way different. You've seen that too. I know.
Well, okay, for instance, like even today, this afternoon, one of the last rugs I actually washed by about 4 o'clock or so. There's a hand knotted rug that's it's a Persia rug. It's black. It's got kind of a yellow border, to it. It has some little features to the inside. I'm not for sure exactly where it came from, honestly. Uh, but I was just going across. Now I was thinking at first, it probably isn't going to bleed, but just be on the edge of caution for myself. I always put a little bit of dye release into the mix.
Yeah.
So I go ahead and put dye release in. I'm using a little bit of triple D. I'm going across and cleaning, and it has just a very little small fringe to the very on both the ends. Right.
Mm.
This rug looked like it was like bleeding out, like it was tea dye. I mean, I was like, what? And I said, is that yellow that powerful? I mean, this is crazy. Like
Mm.
it was a brownish yellow, and I was like, okay, maybe the rug. And and when Jaden sat there and he said, my gosh, look at that. He's looking at everything coming out of there. I was like, oh, I know.
Right.
I started noticing the fringe was kind of looking like it was kind of yellowed, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, dude, am I screwing this deal up? So I'm adding just a little bit more dye release in the bucket, and I'm kind of going across and power washing. I'm doing everything we do. Put some sheets on it, stick in the centrifuge, spin it out, bring it out, and then I lay it out. And actually, I'm looking at the fringe, and then I go back into company cam because I want to see what. Now I know it's wet, so it's going to look a little different. But I look at it
Yeah.
and I was like, man, you know what? Here I was kind of freaking out because it was wet, and it looked like the color of that was having this issue with the fringe.
Right.
And I was seeing everything coming out, and here I was panicking and kind of freaking out, kind of internally. I mean, even though
Right.
all this damn time, right? But you kind of forget how it started. But when you go back and you have that documentation, you come back and you look at it, you're like, man, dude, that rug looks good. It
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
really good, right? The fringe looks really good. It's supposed to look like that. That's what it
Right.
was. That's what it looked like. But everything tricks you. Your eye gets a little tricked when things get wet, right?
Yes.
Then your eye gets tricked also when you're sitting here and you're washing. You're seeing something that's coming out of the rug, and honestly, I don't think that there was pet urine in it, even though maybe there could have been maybe a little. I didn't
If
have
you
no
were, yeah,
odors. It didn't have no odors. I mean, she may have had a dog, but I don't know. Maybe the dog's gone because I don't know. Maybe I didn't
wasn't in the
smell it when I
house.
was
Yeah.
there. Yeah, right. So, and the rug was a little bit older, but there was all those elements that made me wonder. Oh my gosh, am I screwing this up?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, do I need to do I need to dye strip this thing now? What am I doing? And I end up just calm myself down and saying, okay, listen, just finish this off, add some dye release to this thing, you spin it out, pull it out, investigate it and see what it looks like, right?
Right.
And when you did that and you go back to your post or your pre-picks, you realize, man, I was kind of freaking out about nothing.
Yeah.
But
But
listen,
that's good.
but hey, but what happens if it was? What happens if you did screw it up? But
Yeah.
at least if you did screw it up, you knew you're like, okay, yeah, you know what? Now I need to come through here, and I'm going to have to strip out some of this, or I'm going to have
Yeah.
to do full stripping. I'm going to have to do something to the rug, right? But it was great that I actually had the documentation, so I could go back
Yeah.
and check myself. Even for a person that's cleaned rugs for 23 years, who thinks he knows it all, because you can kind of get complacent when you've watched so many
Oh,
other
big
rugs,
time.
you know.
Big
And
time.
I tell you one thing about me is I I probably screwed up probably more than anybody who's out there. It's just I always come back from the screw up and make it even ten
Yeah.
thousand times better
And
because
I'll
I
tell
learned from
you,
those experiences.
wet, you nailed it when you said wet fabric doesn't look like dry fabric, right? And as carpet cleaners, we begin to develop this. I think I have a pretty good idea what it's going to look like dry when we because we leave and it's as wet as it's going to be, until it. So it's light, you got to remember, water droplets are like little magnifying glasses, right? And so they, if you put a business card behind a glass of water and move it, you'll see that, that it actually magnifies and all that. So it really does do that. But as a carpet cleaner, and you've done this, I know too, every once in a while, I get to go back to a job that I cleaned yesterday because a spot wicked up or something, right? And I sometimes I'll leave this job, man. I rotovac scrubbed it, did every, threw this kitchen sink at it, and I'm still seeing this dark traffic lane. I'm like, damn, it's just damage. That's it. It's just, there's a lot of damage here. And then I go back the next day and it looks so much better. I mean, it's not fixed, I mean, it's not completely gone, but my fears about how dark that traffic way is were really compounded by the fact that it was wet. Wet fabric does not look like dry fabric. That is why you don't clean rugs in the house. Isn't that right, Brian?
Oh, absolutely. Well,
Because if you screw something up, you don't have a chance to do nothing.
yeah. Plus, on top of it, I mean, people will see that you screwed up. I mean, anybody can screw. Anybody. I mean, even okay. I think it was last. I think it was last Tuesday. Last Tuesday morning, I had this. I had this like this 4x7 hand out a rug with this massively yellow field, you know, and it had this white medallion there in the middle, and it had the border on there. Of course, we took pictures before, and then we washed it. And I'm looking at this rug, and it bled like crazy. I mean, this rug, that yellow was just coming up like sunlight. I mean, it was just coming
Wow.
out, right. And but I had used the dye release. I had used some LST because there was no pet issues or anything. I wanted that yellow really to shine like afterwards,
Right.
and so I went ahead and went ahead and diapered the rug too, also, and stuck it in the centrifuge, spun it out, pulled it out, and I noticed on one of the borders there was like a yellow stain, and I thought, man, there's so much yellow to that rug, I didn't even see it. But you go
Mhm.
back to the pictures, and you're like, yep, there it was, and then you
You-
start kind of working with it a little bit and discovering what it is. It's like, was that dye transfer? Is that a pet urine? What is that? You
right.
start working with it, and like, oh my gosh, yeah, got it fixed right then and there. But it just goes to show you that how taking pictures beforehand, having the good documentation, having dye release there for you, because I mean, this thing, I mean, the fringes could have been just dark yellow also, they
Yeah.
were perfectly white. The rug looked, incredible. Whoever cleaned the rug in the past, I guess they were down in Tucson, Arizona or something, and
Mm.
they had cleaned it, but you could tell like on one end, like when you're grooming the rug, it was like the rug on that one side of the border wanted to walk the other way. So I took that Mustang brush I have and I really tried, try to really reset the pile, get it going the whole entire way. And I did. And I mean, the rug looks just incredible,
Mhm.
So all these little different features were something that I didn't know before. But I mean, maybe because I get a little complacent, but we take pictures. But I was taking a look at it. I was like, man, look, I didn't even kind of realize that the pile off of that one side of that border was running backwards, then
Right.
running, forward. I was like, what in the world? And it's an easy fix. It's
Yeah.
an easy fix when it's wet like that. Taking a Mustang brush, like of course a brush, and retraining that whole entire thing. You're re-grooming it. Nate told me a long time ago, incredible rug cleaners are incredible groomers.
That's
And
right.
that is a huge, huge aspect of actually rug cleaning, is actually dialing in and just making sure everything is perfect with the grooming, you know.
I tell my clients all the time, I get paid to be more persnickety about it than you are, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah,
that's the truth. Nate told me a long time ago, an excellent rug groomer will outperform a great rug washer every not 7 days a week.
yeah.
7 days a week because that finishing, and I use Silky Soft sometimes to do that, and it
Yeah.
will help. It'll help. So I've done that. I've got a lot of little secrets, but I've got like a karting brush, right? And so I will roll that, man, and just spend the time on it, and you can get it to go back. Now, of course, chances are it's gonna reverse again at some point in the in the future of the rug. But even a temporary fix, it just makes it look so much better, you
Well,
know.
another thing Nate taught me a long time ago was like if you do have a little bit of pooling, where it's pooling the other way instead of running
Right.
all the same way, is that when you are washing the rug, take that power washer and try to set that pile running down, you know.
Right.
So yeah, well, and then when you go back and you go regroom, it's so much easier to go through there and then to regroom that. And I'm gonna have to see if I can find some of those Mustang brushes. I'll have to send you a couple, uh,
Yeah.
because when I went to when I went to Nate's and went to a shop and we were there and we were washing rugs. Remember that in the rug detour?
Yeah, and it's that brush that has bristles, but it has little wire
Yep,
bristles
yep. The brass bristles
embedded.
inside.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yep. Let me tell you something. That is probably my most favorite brush out of
Mm.
all. I got a whole giant collection
Oh
of
my
brushes,
God, I do too.
but that brush right there, I have three of them, and they get used a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
they solve all kinds of issues. It's like a finishing brush. It's
Right.
just so good. Sometimes if you're working on a viscose, a chair or sofa, and you're running across, you're using different brushes, and you kind of can finish it off just a little bit, just with a little bit of pass with that.
Yeah.
It just sets the whole tone of it. In the same way with the rugs, with the rugs, you're going to run through there, and you're really going to set it up. If you have a rug, silk rug like the silk rugs I'm getting ready to do, I mean, you can go back across and use that thing, and that just will
Oh
just
yeah.
set that pile so perfectly well.
It
Oh my,
really does. I mean, it just so, yeah, it's so shiny. It's all, uniformity. That's what. So let's sum up real quick. We want to take good pre-inspection pictures. We want to take good pictures during our process. And that may be just for us, you know what I mean? But still document every single portion. We want to, of course, document after what it looks like after the wash. Do we have any detailing? Do we have to take some stains out? You want to take pictures at that stage. Then you want to take when it's finished and ready to deliver, you take pictures, and then my good friend Brian he taught me tonight to put the rug in the house and take pictures of it and videos there too. I love it. I
yeah.
love it. I
Well,
think that is a
hey, you
great
want to know
idea.
something else? It's really great to actually take some pictures and some video when you're actually washing the rug as
Yeah.
well, because here's the thing. You can go back and you can take a look at that stuff. And let's say you got the point where, like, I have a couple guys who are also washing rugs. I can go back and say, let me go see what you did during that. And I have a little bit of documentation myself. Oh, I didn't take a picture of that. Well, because maybe you didn't do it. you know,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
there's still different things that you can do that you can basically help safeguard yourself. But also, if I walk in and I'm basically doing the quality insurance inspection after the wash, I'm making everything good, and I'm like, man, I might need to have another wash or whatever. And sometimes some guys might get a little bit offended because, hey, you know what? Hey, I washed that rug and I did a dang good job. But then I go back and start looking at some of the pictures, like, well, where's that? Well, I
Right.
didn't do that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it? I said, listen, I don't get offended, but I kind of wanted to see kind of all what's going on. Plus, you can, if you got a little bit of video, it's like you're there. You're
Yeah.
seeing what's going on. Like how
That's
last week
right.
we were talking about the bubbles, right? Everything that's going on. I'm seeing how much foam they're using. I'm seeing everything that's happening. Are you really doing
Hmm.
it the way I'm doing it? Or
Hmm.
this is the reason why I want to get the same result, whether if I do it or whether you do it or somebody else does it or whoever, right? So it's just the way that we document all of this to safeguard ourselves. Plus, on top of it, if somebody says, "Hey, did you really wash my rug?"
Be like,
Yeah,
look, look, here
yeah.
you go.
Hey,
Yep.
you want to see
I'll
some
send you the
video?
video.
Hey,
Yep.
you want to see a little bit of video of your rug actually being done? And they're
Yep.
like, "Wow, that's cool." I actually,
I have the only place in my shop that you're not on camera is in the bathroom. Like I've got cameras everywhere, outside, inside, wash floor, everything. Dry room, you know what I
yeah,
mean? I know if you put that rug upside down or right side up in the dry room, and like I know it all.
yeah,
And I'm usually there. But when I can't be there, I have that backup to where, and a lot of times, I mean, we are starting to have a pretty good presence on TikTok and a few things like that. And so I am we're doing, I have a burner phone, what you would call a burner phone that has a decent camera. And so I have a little ring light thing that I set up while we're washing, and I just videotape as long as the battery will last, and then I download and I charge the battery and more, so we get a lot of uh videos of that because we're trying to have a better, you get them down to about a minute and a half or something and post them. It gets people's attention. And you were talking about the therapeutic rug washing thing, where people, I mean, people who have nothing to do with our industry will go and watch people wash rugs on videos because it's soothing,
yeah,
I mean, I love it.
yeah,
I loved performing it. I mean, I don't really like watching videos that other people do. You know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
not really my thing, but I like, I love the action. You know what I mean? I love it.
yeah.
So, well, we have went a little long, but not a big deal. I'll sleep when I'm dead, right?
All right.
um, but it was good hanging out with you tonight, Brian. I love
Yeah.
it. I really, really look forward to Tuesdays because of this, man. Because I mean, I've known you for years, but I don't think we've ever been closer.
Oh yeah.
Being able to do a show like this, and Paul set us on this path, um, and I like it.
And he really did.
Yeah,
He really did. I was sitting there washing rugs today, and I was just thinking about him as I'm sitting there watching those things, and I was like, man, you know,
yeah,
I was like, there was this part when I was watching, I was like, man, I really would love just to call him just to be able to tell him kind of what's going on. But
yeah.
I was like, and she's going right.
And you know what it hurts me that there are going to be people that are going to come up in this industry that will never know what Paul is, will
Oh,
just, his,
yeah.
and that is a real shame. Um, yeah, I'm there. Yeah, I hate it,
He just got
but
lucky. You know that?
yeah,
We
we were in the right time.
we
Yep,
got lucky.
yep,
That's all there is to it. I mean, to think about this,
absolutely right.
a long time ago, back when all that Pro Cleaners Network started, that was what,
Yeah,
2009, and we were sitting here,
yeah,
and there was Scott Kenfield, you, myself, Anthony Belmont. We're all,
yeah,
we're in there, and they're like, hey, we should get this guy, Nathan Keats, man, and Nate knows Paul, and
yeah.
and that whole entire thing just changed, and
Ballooned.
to see
Yep,
how we all learned so much, and how we all became like really good rug cleaners. Like there's a
yep.
lot of really good rug cleaners,
Awesome.
that just
Awesome.
were able to just to learn from all those nights that we got to spend together, and it was
Yeah.
just cool. It was really cool. It was special. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, looking back on it, I took it for granted. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
really did. I remember the show Paul did before he went into surgery, and it was just like, oh, yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, no, and boom,
yeah.
um, I wasn't ready for it. I just
No,
was not ready for
but
it.
the cool thing about it is that he kind of collaborated this all back kind of together,
Yeah.
and kind of almost like where it very first started, right? And
Yep.
and we are continuing what he really wanted us to continue, which was his knowledge. Don't let him be forgotten,
Right.
and to share some knowledge so it can go well past, us. I mean, who knows? Who knows how long that all this could transpire, and who knows? People might actually see this years, from now, and
Years
say,
from now. Yep. Yep.
what were those
It's
two guys talking about? But
yeah.
but they have the opportunity to learn, and I think
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna be developing some stuff and getting into some things that I'm not talking about right now, but will in the future there are gonna be some surprises come up that I've got up my sleeve. So but anyway, let's say good night for today. We'll be back here Tuesday night again and posting Wednesday morning on all the groups that I belong in and all of that. So everybody have a good week and a profitable tomorrow. We want to see you right back here watching the show on Wednesday mornings. And we'll release it. And let's tell everybody bye.
We'll see y'all later.
Have a good day, everybody. A good night, a good tomorrow, a good week. And we'll see you back here Tuesday night next week. All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Let's see. Get this. Go. Stop.